Hi everyone. I'm really excited today. It's me here, Dean Clownwatcher from Mental Health Open Discussions. Um, I know I've been posting a lot of videos lately, and I have a very dear, special friend to me, Electra, who's here. She is a peer mentor. She does a lot of support, and what's brought her here is her personal life experiences. This is the first time she's agreed to go on camera, but I just because of what she does in the community, and that I need to protect her, and that's what I have promised in order for her to help me with this video. As you can see to the right of her, she's created this beautiful painting. I've been personally attracted to her work. This is her expression, how she expresses a lot of what she goes through mentally, the struggles she has to go through, and as many of you can relate, she puts it onto canvas, which I personally think is beautiful, and it's all about perspective. So I'd like to welcome you, Electra. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I know that this is tough. We're discussing mental health,
Yes.
and we're trying to end the silence, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first time that you've come out and want to talk about it.
Yes. It's a very scary thing to do.
It is. It is. I agree. I know I did a live video, and it's probably one of the toughest things I ever had to do. So your courage is very inspiring, and I know our viewers are going to be just amazed by your strength, your core strength.
Thank you.
So I'd like to maybe start off a little bit. If you can give us a little bit of brief history, like how old are you now? How long have you been fighting? With whatever your experience. I know a lot about you myself, but that's not up for me to talk about. We want you to be comfortable. Anything you don't, in the questions I ask you, if you're not comfortable with it, please by all means just say, I just don't want to answer that right now.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't want to force anything here, but absolutely inspired by the fact that you're trying to end your silence.
Okay, a brief history. I first experienced parent alienation at the age of 11. And then physical abuse started. And I started getting depressed at that point. Tried to control the situation, left home early as a teenager, and ran from one confusion to another, still dealing with mental illness, married young, and it was an abusive relationship, mentally and sometimes physically, and I found myself very alone. Back in those days, you didn't advertise the fact that your wife was acting crazy, couldn't get out of bed, couldn't function. And I think it took I know it took a toll on the whole family, but I guess I've always tended to try to be a fixer, to fix everybody's problems. And so trying to control the situation, I tried to leave. And because of the mental illness, I found that it was very difficult, very, very difficult. I made 4 attempts before I actually got out. And all the while trying to get help with the mental illness, but I was told, you just need tranquilizers to calm down and, just take it easy. But that didn't do it. Didn't get rid of the dark, heavy places that I kept going. And as a child, I was taught that I didn't have much value, and I carried that on through my life. And even though I knew I didn't have the value, I knew that the way I was being treated wasn't right. And I continued to get depressed. I got agoraphobia, and because of my kids, I kept trying to fight. I was diagnosed as manic depressant. I was diagnosed as bipolar. I was diagnosed as
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you, Electra. You know, I don't really obviously want to bring up too much hurt for you. So I'll change it a little bit here. What ultimately has gotten you into supporting the way you do now others who have gone through very similar experiences as you? What is so meaningful about peer support for you that you feel that that for you worked but will work for others?
I am in my 60s, and I, last year, had a very bad depression. The worst it's ever been. Suicide attempts. And I failed at both. And I saw a little snippet of a video of a mother saying, if I could spend one more day with my daughter, I would give anything. And I thought to myself, that's not the legacy I want to leave. This is how you deal with your problems. And I vowed to fight as hard as I could to find something to help. And thank God, with the help of my daughter, she found CHMA.
That would be the Canadian Mental Health
Yes.
Association? Okay.
Yes. And I went down there, and my life has never been the same. I got a peer myself, and it made such a difference in my life. I've been on drugs, I've been to the therapists, but this helped me so immensely that I now do peer support for other people. I feel like I've gotten my life back. I feel like I'm in control of my life. I've learned tools to deal with depression. I'm still in it, still monitor all the time. I am drug-free from the prescriptions now.
That's amazing.
And I think that if I could help other people as much as I've been helped, I think we can make a big difference. And I think we've got to get that word out, and we've got to help each other. We've got to talk and listen.
So when you say help, you're talking support, right? Supporting others?
Some people need a psychiatrist, some people need medication. I think everyone's different. I don't think there's a steadfast rule for everybody.
Right.
But I think we're all in this together, trying everything that we've got to see what works for us. But you have to be able to get those feelings out.
That's amazing. I notice, you know, I'm a believer myself in different therapy techniques, well-being. As long as I've known you, you've pretty much are on the same page about well-being and different choices. I can't help, you know, honestly, Daph, talking about your paintings.
Mm-hmm.
I know this is becoming a huge trend, and I know a lot of people now are talking about therapy through painting.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know you have no formal training with painting, so your art is coming from your heart and your head, right?
Yep.
Do you mind? I noticed here to the right here we have this beautiful setting, which when I saw this morning was absolutely just ecstatic about, because I just thought it was so beautiful and depicted something that I saw into the painting. Can you tell us your thoughts behind your painting here? What this means to you?
This one is a painting in progress, and what I'm trying to convey is a sense of peace and serenity. I love nature. I find peace in nature. And you'll notice right now there's only a man and a dog looking out at the water. And I have a dog, which is my little godsend.
Right.
I think animals are so very important to our health. But so I was trying to convey a feeling of peace and serenity that comes with nature. And it also, I always feel like there's a big space. Sometimes that space feels so empty. And sometimes that space feels like I can take such a deep breath and take it all in. And with this picture, I can take that big, deep breath.
Do you find, as you know, I'm a huge advocate for animal therapy for sure, and I've just recently gotten to art, and I posted some things of your other arts that you've done, which was quite a hit with a lot of people. Do you find as you're painting this, I know this painting has been going on for a while for you, and you do it in those moments that you know, is it for your own therapy as you do it, or does something just, you have to get something out when you start to paint? Like, do you have a picture in your head of what you're painting, or does it just come out naturally, and does it help you in any way?
Usually it's mulled over in my head for a while.
Right.
And then I can only work on it certain times. Right? I mean, I'd love to sit down, do a painting and finish it.
Right.
But it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes I can paint better than others, depending on how my mood is.
Yeah. And how have you been doing? I know that you've worked really hard since I've known you, anyways, and we did the courses together. How are you doing today? Now that you've gotten out and you've had peers that you've supported, you've been a wonderful partner in our page, supporting others. How does that work? Yeah, I know it helps and it supports the peers, but how is that helping you with your battles and your fights?
Well, for one, I'm not focused on myself. That's a little tiny thing, but when you're focused on yourself, everything is so large. And when you start to get other interests, you don't look at yourself so much. So when I'm helping these other people, I'm just listening. And I'm not thinking of myself, I'm thinking of them. And then I do. You can see the relief on their faces when they just get it out. It's like opening the top of a genie bottle and just letting it out. Just feels a little bit better.